Hello and welcome back to my channel, Jaya Colorist. My name is Jody and today we're continuing on in The World of Flowers by Johanna Basford, and we are doing a double page spread, and on this page we are doing a color pencil comparison. So we are working on this page here. We will be completing a minimum of 10 different brands of colored pencils where we will look at each pencil, the different attributes of the pencils, how they feel, the information from the manufacturer's website, and how they're coloring. So today we are going to look at the Koh-I-Noor Progresso. They are the woodless color pencils. They come in a 24 pack. They have a total of 26 colors available. They have this pack, and then they have a 2-pack of extra colors, gold and silver, which I do not own. They are in a plastic trays that slide out. And so this is just cardboard. I have kept them so far in these trays. They're easy to pop in and out. I may put them in a pencil case at some point, but for now, these are what the pencils look like. I have swatched them out, and just a second and I'll grab my swatch book. Okay, here's the swatch of all 24 colors that I do have. So you can see them all there. Darker on one side and lighter on this side. I have not used any Gamsol on these swatches, so that is pre-blended colors. So if we take a look at the pencil themselves, each pencil, it's woodless, so the whole entire pencil is the core. It is covered, according to the website, by a lacquer finish. So think of nail polish, actually. So it's it feels exactly like nail polish on the outside, and it's 100% core. They sharpen very easily, and they seem to hold a point fairly well. So they are harder. They are made of clay and wax, so they feel more like an oil pencil. And they're the only pencil that I've found that has been listed as clay on the manufacturer's website. They do have both names and numbers on the board, on the barrel. It's a round barrel, and they can be purchased open stock at blick.com. So that's the Blick Materials and Dick Blick. Let's see what else. This is the Progresso woodless. They do have other, Koh-I-Noor does make other pencils, so just to clarify that these are the Progresso, the woodless ones, and the total is only 26. They do have light fast information on their website, and I will include a picture of that here. Okay, I've got you zoomed in a little bit more. I'll zoom you in slightly more. We are going to be doing this picture here. And these pencils are manufactured in the Czech Republic, and they are the only pencil that I have that are manufactured there. I have been hand sharpening these pencils with just 2 different hand sharpeners, and they have been sharpening wonderful. You can keep the pencil shavings and use them to smudge or smear, so you could do some interesting backgrounds with this, but for now we will just start to color. They don't go down, it's not that they feel scratchy per se, but they do have a different feel. Like they do feel more like my Bambino clay crayons. So there is a definite difference. They don't go down smooth and buttery like the ChromaFlow did on our first, but they do blend very nicely, and it's a nice color pigment. It is nice that the whole pencil is a core, so it doesn't matter which way you're angling your pencil, you are getting core. So that's kind of a cool feature. It has, for color selection, there are quite a few greens. There's what I would consider 4 greens. So we've got a light green, a sap green, a dark green, and a hooker's green. So in a 24 set, that's, you know, four of your pencils are green. That's pretty awesome. And that's why I picked a larger picture here, because we do have more colors we can play with. So we'll just do a few different colors on different leaves. I'm hoping you can see. That's as zoomed in as I can get you. But this green here is the hooker's green, and it's a beautiful color. Light pressure, pigment payout is fine. Blends well with other colors. Let's see what else I've got on my sheet. So there's 26 total. I own 24. As I mentioned, you can buy them online and in art stores. I'm not sure about your Michaels, but I did buy these at my local art store, and I actually bought them on sale. So these were just under $16. They were like 15 something. The white of the paper is pretty much gone. I'm not having to, so it's taken probably 3 or 4 layers, and that's done. I have not needed to use Gamsol, and I did not have to press and work hard at that. Okay, let's see how it does with tiny lines. So let's get a sharper point. It does seem to maintain its point quite a while, so I'm not having to sharpen often. Yeah, that's nice. No problem there. That's nice. Again, it's not a scratchy feel, but it is a different feeling from a wax-based pencil. I did take these on my holiday with me to play with them a bit more and get more familiar with them. So I have used them now on 3 or 4 different kinds of paper, and I didn't have a problem with any of them. I did use Gamsol once in a while, just as per normal. I use Gamsol sometimes to save myself from having to do so many layers. Saves my hand a bit. So what else is on here? So we've talked about the plastic trays with a good cardboard sleeve. The pencil color is the entire barrel. It's a round pencil. Again, it's covered with a lacquer finish, which is very much like nail polish. And when you don't peel it off, it's a permanent. So you just it comes off as you sharpen it down. So there's no peeling off of that. So it's kind of neat. It's made of clay and wax and pigment. The light fast information is available on their website, and I have saved a PDF for you and displayed it already earlier in this video. But if you need the information, it's directly from the Koh-I-Noor website. So I will leave that website in the video description. Okay, I'm going to shut the camera off and continue doing the leaves, and I'll be back. Okay, all the leaves are done. I will endeavor to keep you in frame. I apologize for being a little off center there. We're going to do the flowers now, and just give you a closer up view of how the leaves turned out. I did not use any Gamsol, so that's strictly blending with the pencils. So here's our second tray. These colors are flower-like, so I think we're going to use some pinks. We've got a number of pinks, so we might as well do that. If we go back to the color chart, I'll zoom you out a bit. So we actually have a fairly good selection of everything. Like I was saying, we had 4 greens, but we also have 4 blues, and basically we have almost 2 or 3 colors of every. So we have a minimum of a light and a dark of each color, including the browns. We actually have a light ochre, a brown, a burnt sienna, and a natural sepia. So we do have a fairly good selection of everything. We don't really have a peach color. We're missing some pastels, but in a 24 set, you're not going to get everything. So I was happy with the selection that we did have. Zoom you just a titch. There we go. Okay, so we're going to select some pinks, and I think we're going to start with the one that's just called pink. They do have numbers on each of them, so that's kind of nice. I am going with light pressure. Just as an overall, I'll just kind of see. Each of these flowers don't have to be the same color. We'll just mix it up a bit. So the next one, we're going to go, that's Carmine. Going to select Scarlet Lake. And let's just so I hope everyone's having a nice summer or season wherever you are. We've started to harvest in the garden. So we've this week we've picked our first long English cucumber, and that was done in the greenhouse. And On the garden itself, I've been dehydrating kale into kale chips by the bucket load, and we picked and harvested our first crop of peas, so like green peas. So we shelled them and blanched them, and they're now in the freezer. So we'll eat some fresh, but it's a bit too many to eat all of them. So our spinach is done, so we've eaten enough spinach salads for quite some time. Let's see if you can get a bit bigger. So yeah, I don't want to be eating any more spinach for a while. Okay, this is light violet. I wonder what that color is going to be like. So we've also been eating green onions out of the garden. And broccoli. Broccoli is finished already. So we don't have a long growing season here in Alberta. And my husband does all of the work. I just do the inside work. So I'm going to use my bit of Gamsol on this, and so let's make sure my tip is clean. I don't really want to add too many more layers, but I do want to blend it in a bit. Okay, we'll let that dry, and we will also come in and use the center. I'm going to use the Pentel Sparkle Pop, so we'll do one of these side views. And then in the next one, instead of Gamsol, I'll try using the white pencil as a blender. So we'll do a few tests like that. So that was Scarlet Lake, and now we're going back to the color pink. Okay, then I'm going to use the white. I'm going to make sure the white is clean. I use my white sometimes as a blender, so I do often have to make sure that it's clean. Or you're going to be blending in colors you really hadn't planned on. So that feels nice. The weight of the paper is gone. Now let's see if I can add a bit more color to the bottom and see if that, yeah, I'm still able to add more after the white. So it is a hard pencil. Like I mentioned, it's not soft. If you have any experience with the Bambino crayons, they don't feel like a crayon either. It's a different feel. So yeah, I like how that turned out. Quite happy with that. And this one is dry, so let's add a bit of pink to that center, and it'll just have a little bit of shine. If the light could get to it, but we'll leave it at that. Okay, let's pick some of these up here. We're going to, I'm going to do some yellow and some orange. So make sure you're in. I'm not so concerned about having the plant all the same color and flowers. I want to test out as many different pencils as we can to see how they all play together. Okay, so that's one layer. The tray's a bit noisy. And I may eventually move them out of the tray. They are, as they get shorter, I have noticed that they're not, they're not resting in the top anymore. So they are still in a ribbed area here, but they're not catching on the top like they originally did. So eventually, like they're still in there secure because of the other ribbing, but I may move them into their own case. I'm gonna sharpen this guy just a little bit. I was a little nervous to sharpen them at the beginning, but they sharpen up really well. It's not a problem. I wouldn't put them into like an electric sharpener that grabs it and puts the, sharpens it until it stops, because this is all core, and so all the sharpening you are doing is taking away material that's usable. So I do prefer a handheld sharpener in this case. Okay, we're going to do this center guy here. Maybe we'll do darker tips and darker there. Just mix it up a bit. Sometimes get bored of flowers. We're going to highlight. So I have more than 10 pencil sets. I have been coloring since 2016, like I mentioned before. So I do have a number of pencil sets that don't get much love anymore. So when I went to prepare for this series, I was actually surprised how many pencil sets I do have, but I certainly don't have all the pencil sets that a lot of people have. So I don't have any Castle Arts. I don't have any Black Widow pencils, like none of those. So I'm hoping that this series is interesting, because I do have pencils that are still available, but maybe not everybody is using. So I won't tell you all the pencil sets, but I will. They will all be included in the title and on the thumbnail, so you will know if it's a pencil set you're interested in. By all means, watch. And I'd be interested to know if you have these pencils and how you're using them, and if you like them, and what your own pros and cons are. On the worksheet that I will have a picture of at the end of each video, I do have pros and cons. And for this set, the Koh-I-Noor woodless ones, my con is that, so there's only 26 colors available. The 24 are in the set, but then they have two colors, a gold and a silver, in a 2-pack. Like, I'm like, it's, so I mean, I didn't buy them because I wasn't really interested in in those 2 packs, but I just thought that that was rather strange to have the pencils marketed like that. Pro is that there's no wood on these, so the whole pencil is usable. Con is you do feel like you're putting a bit more pressure on to get the pigment on, and I'm not sure if that's just me personally, but if you were a person with difficulty with, you know, arthritis or hands hurting, these may be a pencil that you can't use for hours at a time. You may have to switch it up. So I'm going to use a gold sparkle pop here. Okay, so that's how that's looking. I like that one. So I'll continue on doing these other flowers on my own, but with us, let's do some of these things here. And the other flower I did over here, get you in frame, I did with purple accents. So maybe we'll do purple here as well, and see how that works. So, and my color swatch says I have a dark violet and a light violet, but the light violet, let me just find it. Carmine, pink. Okay. The light violet and the dark violet, like one looks like pink and the other looks like purple. So I'm just going to swatch them out here on this separate area. So this is the light violet, and it's very much a red, and then this one is definitely purple. So I don't understand how they would call that light violet. So I'm just going to stick with the purple violet, so that's the dark violet, and to get a lighter tone I will use the white. So I'll just make sure the tip is clean, and I'll do that. So I want a bit of contrast, so I'm gonna have darker at this end and then lighter there. And then I'm gonna So I do enjoy these pencils. I am certainly not unhappy with my purchase. For the price point, it was excellent. I don't compare prices for these comparison, and mainly that's because prices fluctuate so much and everyone is in a different country. I live in Canada, and art supplies are more expensive here than say in the States, but I know in Australia art supplies are even dearer. So I don't think that price is always a true indicative, you know, of whether or not the pencil is worth it. I'm sure that the availability of the pencils is also a really deciding factor on cost. Okay, so that's how this is looking. I'll zoom you out a little bit. I'll carry on. I'll shut the camera off, finish this up, and then we'll come back and we'll think about what to do about the background. See you shortly. Okay, welcome back, and we are finished coloring the flowers and the leaves and the little corner pieces which I used the purple and white on the tips. The only other item I did add besides the pencil was the 3 different color sparkle pops for the center of the flowers. So that's the gold, the pink, and the purple there. So otherwise, strictly the Koh-I-Noor Progresso pencils. Just so you know, I sharpened the this one to a fine tip just to show you that it can be done, and it colored quite well. There isn't actual crumbling when you're coloring, but there does seem to be dust. So there's some fine pencil dust, and I just use a small brush to brush that away. Because it is obviously strictly pigment, using a brush rather than your hand to wipe away that is preferable. So for the background, we're just going to do, I think, a bit of shading around some of the actual flower, kind of to make it a little bit hazy, but I don't think I want to do a full background like we did there. So, and I am going to test out a few of these. You want to test out this color because that's what they call dark green, which like to me that's not dark green. So, and this is hooker's green, which beside it, I mean, to me that's a dark green. So even though the names of the pencils, you know, fairly well, you know, that's not overly close to the color on here. You do need to swatch them, and so yeah, even though they are fully color dipped on the entire, you know, lacquer piece, the colors are more true to the leads rather than the color on the outside of the barrel. So I have found that because this color lead does match the color on the picture, or sorry, on the swatch, but the barrel does not match. So that is one con that I'm going to add to my con list, I believe. And let's see. Now we'll just do a bit of, I'm going to do a bit more swatching here for a second. So, okay. I might actually do a combination of these 2 colors. So let's just begin, I guess. So just a light pressure, and then I'm gonna just overlap slightly these. So blue in the corners, and then have this purple blending right into the blue. Because I'm trying to use only pencils on this. I would normally use, you know, like a ink or a Neocolor 2 or a pastel, but We're going to try and keep this as a pencil only piece, and that'll push my limits into something new and really make these pencils work a little bit harder maybe, and see what they can do and how they do with a background. And would you use them like that, or are they better for something else? So we'll never know unless we try. So you're along for the ride here. Being creative is all about the journey anyways, so it is nice that the entire pencil is the core, because I am able to color longer without sharpening, because I can color at an angle, and I'm not having to rotate my pencil constantly to keep a sharp point like you do with a few brands. Depending on how this looks, I may or may not have to use some Gamsol to blend those two colors together, but oh, I think I missed a titchy green right there. There you go. Switch it up a bit. So here's a pencil question for you. Which pencil set is your dream set? Which pencil set is it that you have on your wish list? And if money was no object and availability was no object, what would your wish list pencil set be? I would love to try the Light Fast pencils by Derwent. I also would love to try the Caran d'Ache Luminance. I have never tried the Holbein, but that's a little bit further down on my list. It's not a pencil set that I've always wanted to try, but I know it is a popular one for a high value kind of wish list pencil for some people. But yeah, I would love to try the Caran d'Ache Luminance or the Derwent Light Fast. So in the comment below, let me know your dream pencil set. Even just to try them. I don't necessarily need to own them, but I would just, love to try them for a week, This is probably going to look weird by the end of it, but you know what? Sometimes happy accidents happen. Oh, that was the tea cozy on my teacup. Okay, I'll keep doing this, and we'll let you know how it turns out. Okay, I just thought I'd bring you back to let you see what one layer of the two colors. So I've got sky blue and dark violet. So this is one layer, and as you can see, it's pretty patchy. This is a light layer though, I'm not scrubbing hard. So what I'm going to do now is do a second layer. And also I want to point out that my pencil is still pretty darn sharp. So I haven't resharpened it from the last time I showed you. So they don't wear down quickly. They do hold their point for quite some time. And again, they are a clay and wax based pencil. So we will continue on. I will do another coat. At this point, I'm not going to use Gamsol because there really isn't enough pigment layers laid down. So it would be very faint. So I'll add another layer and then I'll come back and we'll see how the coverage is looking after 2 layers. And if we need to use Gamsol to do some blending at that time, then we'll do that together. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back and we've done 2 layers. And it looks a bit better in person than it does on camera, trust me. But I do want to smooth it out a little bit and get rid of the white of the paper. So I'm going to bring in my Copic marker filled with Gamsol, and I'm going to do the purple area first, and then I will blend it in to the blue area. So just going over lightly all the purple area to get rid of any pencil marks and streakies. And I'm doing mostly the one color first and then the other so that I'm not dragging and losing the colors. So I'm keeping them still separate, and then I will blend the few joining areas together. Oh, that's my dog. Sorry about that. She is in a different room, but sorry that you can hear her. She must hear something outside. Okay, so that's how the purple looks. And now I'll wipe off that, and we will blend the blue into it. So just using circular motions, breathing in. Okay, my husband has taken the dog outside for a walk, so just pause the camera there for a brief moment. And I'm only lightly touching the paper. I'm not scrubbing. So I'm just and this is the brush tip. So this is was an empty Copic sketch marker, and I have lung issues. Obviously, I'm on oxygen 24 hours a day, so I don't want odorless mineral spirits like fumes hanging around, and having them in the closed Gamsol, in the closed Copic marker, totally removes any fumes, and I can't smell it at all. And I keep it capped, and yeah. And while the nib is dirty, it actually is clean. I wipe it off in between, so it's stained, but it's fine. Okay. So that, wipe this off, cap it up. That is where we're at. And that, I like the background. It will dry, and it is wet right now, but I'll take a final picture of it after it's dry to show you on the screen. And thank you for coming along as we looked at the Koh-I-Noor Progresso woodless color pencils, not watercolor, just color pencils. I've enjoyed them. I'm happy with them. I'm glad that they're part of my pencil collection, and yeah, definitely worth trying out. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.